Sorry about that. Welcome
I'll
to
never get tired of that song.
welcome to Calling the Audible here.
Not. It's been 10 years.
The inaugural
Calling the Audible is
show
brought to you
that we
by
have
The
this
Zone.
season.
The NFL is done.
Eagle,
Calling
what's
the
wrong
Audible
with
is
you
brought to you
tonight,
by-
man? I love you, but you're ruining the show.
Is he though?
Yeah, I mean, and making it better. It could be two things.
Who's more annoyed,
Good
GM
times.
or Eagle?
GM is the most annoyed person on earth.
GM looks like he's annoyed right
Jim
now.
hates us right now. To be fair,
Okay.
Jim, I love you, but also I don't. So there's that.
Okay,
Who,
10,
who are we?
9, 8, 7, 6.
Oh, I thought we were on air.
4,
We're on there already.
2, 1. All right, welcome back to Division 5A and 5B. Calling the Audible, the opening week of shows that we have for this Week 1 recap, for Week 2 preview. For those who are tuning in for the first time, we have condensed this show's manpower. It used to be a ESPN level of bodies. Now we're down to like 5 people.
So the new ESPN level of
Yeah,
bodies.
suits.
The post-layoff
The
ESPN
suits-
level of bodies.
The suits at
post,
Jean Talon said, we got to cut down. So we've kept the 5 survivors here. To my immediate left, Simone Dagenet.
I am up here.
Yes, you are. I'm looking at your shirt, though.
Me too.
To my far left, PC Delarizzi.
Finger guns.
Okay. Our new executive producer, a man who is the historian of the show, Stats and Ink over here, GM Clarathos, who wasn't really happy with us for the first hour. But GM
And it was
welcome
merited.
To be fair, the first 2 hours.
The first 2 hours, that's
Yeah.
right, because we didn't even start on
back.
time.
Yeah,
We
GM
did
might
not,
leave by
because
like
we were
hour
late.
number 2.
You know something's up when I get here first. Well, Eagle got here first, but
You know,
it's assumed.
it's the normal thing when I get here last.
Yes.
And of course, the
It's part of the
ultimate
problem.
Eagle genius of this producer, Eagle, Alex Dakala.
Without a microphone, so it's better for us.
He says hi.
Okay, so for those who are curious to know, the way this is going to work, PZ, Simone, and I are going to be the guys who will talk about the hot topics of the day. And when we need help or extra information, Jim will be there to provide that for us when called upon, when he's in a happy mood.
If that
If
so
if
occurs.
it ever happens, which is...
If I deem you all worthy of said statistics.
Exactly. He's like the Bud Light commercial, you know.
Did he?
Yeah. Hey, can you get us this? No, we're going to send you to the hole of death right now for asking that question. That's what it is.
Have you not seen that commercial?
No, clearly not.
Oh,
Dilly.
clearly,
As well, feel free. We're on Facebook Live right now. If you have questions, feel free to write in. I'm looking at the screen every so often, so I will make sure to read it to Pease, Simo, and Mo, and hopefully they will have something insightful to respond to
Good
you
enough
with.
for
Twitter handles
Dilly.
at MoCon19, of course.
Dash
That's
FPF.
Dash FPF, PZFPF.
Virtual finger guns.
Yes.
What's going on?
Everything.
And GM, your handle, please.
At GM Cole 44,
GM
as you can see above right now.
It's a cold
Yes,
world.
Eagle FPF as well. It is a cold world. Sorry,
people
gentlemen,
who started
let's
listening
dive
earlier,
in.
it's
Let's dive
getting
into
bad.
this 5A and 5B. We'll go into 5A, the week that was in Division 5A. Your thoughts, what games caught your attention from this past week?
The
boys?
Falcons, man, they're back to their former glory. They had a few bad seasons, a few bad years, but they're really good this week. This season so far, week 1 they were dominant, very scary roster, and the fact that their best player, possibly best player, Rafael Ducolapom, hasn't played yet is scary.
I saw that Frank K is back for Voodoo. So applause
Great.
to Frank K, by the way, back from injury. Second time he's come back from a torn Achilles. Really happy to see him out there. Although I did notice Voodoo is now playing without Philip Cotrabati. So
That's a big loss.
it's a big loss. I don't know how well he would fit the system with Frank as quarterback, because Frank and Pat Saint-Amand have very different
Voodoo
styles of
losing
play.
by
Yes.
1 to Rednecks on Saturday
Yeah,
night.
and they lost by 1 point exactly. And there was a bit of tentativeness by Frank, and I spoke to him the next morning after the game, and he was telling me that, it feels a little bit odd to be back on the field for the first time in a while, but it felt nice to just be competitive in a game right off the bat, and I think we'll see Voodoo improve.
I think Voodoo has a good core of players. I think it's a core that Frank's very familiar with, which we know he's played with these guys with Zoo and other teams across the board. Yeah, when you look at a team like Voodoo, though, you guys mentioned just now, though. I mean, what do we see as a ceiling for them this year? Are they a team that we're going to see in playoffs? And if so, how many wins to get into the playoffs? Are we looking at a 7-win
It's a glass
team
ceiling,
here?
Well,
No, I
you can
think
look up there,
No,
see
I
what's
think-
going
yeah.
on.
Never know.
Maybe it's Cap, maybe it's not.
Perhaps. But for Voodoo though, they're in a tough division though.
Yes.
You got Longhorns.
They're a good team.
You got Ghost, Texas Bearmans, which we'll get to momentarily here, which I'm surprised are in this division anyway for 5. But that division, and it's too early to tell how it's going to play out, though. But
Agreed.
from the optics perspective, though, Simo, this might be one of those tougher divisions in this group.
It definitely is probably like what we call the division of death. But
A group of death, actually, it's called.
thank you.
You're welcome.
So I think that Voodoo has the potential to be one of the very good teams of Division 5, but they're not the kind of team that plays mistake-free. They're going to lose a few games. They're going to drop to 6-4 record. They're still going to make the playoffs. They're going to be one of the middle-of-the-pack kind of team, and they'll pick it up from there. We'll see how they do in the playoffs.
Please, we look at Greendale Human Beings.
Mm-hmm.
They're a loaded roster of talent.
Absolutely.
Dan Elward looking phenomenal.
They are the team that's skating the cap the most. No, not on purpose.
Somehow.
Just because a lot of the guys only played Division 6, so they're not affected by the sort of like cap benchmarks that have a huge impact on your player cap.
They put the team together in Division 6 a
Yeah.
few seasons ago.
And they're moving up sort of organically.
And
fine.
they're doing the regular process. It's just they're so dominant that a lot of people will hope they would move up faster. Like skip a division.
Right now, they're the
Well, they
favorites.
did in a sense. They went from 6 to 5-8.
Yeah, which is a two division
Yeah.
essentially, right?
Well, you registered in 5, right? And you
I understand.
ended up in 4A.
I think they're in the right division for that reason.
Yes,
though.
I agree.
You go up 2 divisions at once.
I
It's
think
Are they-
four,
are they the
four would have
favorites,
been
though?
rough.
Are they your favorites, or are they one of the favorites? Yeah.
They're one of the favorites for me. When they added Phil Dikovic, it really took the team to another level. But Brandon Aylward is unstoppable, and Alex Joltov is back. It's a good team. It's a good team top to bottom.
Surprised though with Mud Dogs, they lose week 1.
I am. I'm only surprised because the quarterback's different.
Well, they moved down a division, right?
Well, yeah.
it's-
But the core looks basically the same. The guys are all back. It's good to see most
Yeah, but
of them
when you
back.
change quarterbacks, well, that's a
lost
huge
the Longhorns,
Exactly.
by the way,
But-
40-33.
I actually saw the end of this game. They could not, and it's bizarre. Every time I see rushers unable to contain John Moody, I find it bizarre because he does move so well, but he doesn't look like he would move so well.
No, but he's fast.
What it is, John Moody has a great first step as well. Is that
Yeah.
like he'll get a rusher to overcommit very easily with little effort, and then even if he's not the fastest, he can take off, and it's harder for the rusher to recover.
But not that he does this thing where he's moving towards the line of scrimmage, he's constantly looking downfield, and he's great at spotting receivers on the run. And like he had a play where he's moving slightly to his left, being chased by the rusher who missed him, and
Surprise,
Dave
surprise.
Allen just sort of like got lost in coverage, caught the ball for a touchdown, just threw sort of away from him, sort of back like off his back foot, right into Dave Allen's waiting arms and touchdown, like a baby falling from the sky, whatever that means.
It's amazing. It's a great metaphor.
What type of metaphor is that?
I don't know.
It's great.
It's
I
the
love
first
it.
words that came to my mind.
Yeah, I can see that.
He caught the baby though, Mo. He saved the
Yeah,
child.
yeah, what's wrong
Dave
with
Allen's
you?
an amazing man.
I think Mo wanted the child to like drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Terrible
exactly
person.
it. That's exactly it. Hot Boys Hotline.
Oh,
The
Oh.
Eagle is the improved Hot Boys Hotline.
Yes,
Okay,
he
cool.
improved. And you can see Eagle. He's starting to like bite his lip, like you idiots.
No,
Bringing that up.
no,
for
it's
why?
actually because he's watching pornography and he's biting his lip because he's turned on.
Hot Boys Hotline.
Cool.
Your thoughts on this team? Are they improved this year? Look, I've ripped this team for numerous years because of their quarterback, Tom Gatehouse, and now he's like the Jay Cutler with less talent to work with.
no, but they
Which is
listen.
surprising.
No, it is though. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they've had some decent talent. Vadim Triniak being on the team, Streeter, and other guys, Grauer included. But it just feels like I remember one year, and Eagle can reminisce on this. They were tied 6-6 against the best team. I think it was it winter 2016? It was
In Spartans, was that the case?
Yes, I think it was Spartans.
2017. It was 6-6. Lachine Field 2
Oh,
Sunday nights.
that was terrible. I was there with you.
Yeah, and they won on a safety in the last play because the snapper botched the snap of the football.
No, because James Andrea held onto the ball too long.
Yeah, he botched it though, and he's holding on to the ball, and then he got sacked. Right. That's what I'm talking about. You're not going to win with 8 points though. But are we looking at this
But they
Hot
did.
Boys Hotline team, but as being a better team now without?
I think.
Without Eagle?
Oh,
I think, honestly, this is not the game where you'll feel the loss of Eagle. But as every ex-girlfriend of
Nice.
Eagle knows, you will eventually feel the loss of Eagle. Eric's 1 through 9 know that
I think
best.
the Hot Boys Hotline. I'll give them credit for what they did in the spring season. They were very good in spring 17. If they could build on that, then they might have a very good season this winter.
What about Dope Boys though?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ridwan Abdur, are easy, as they call him.
The boys have one player.
But it's
It's
one of those
sad.
teams, right? Like they're kind of like the
No, they have another dude.
so
Robbie Dejean also
Dejean,
yes,
who plays for
who's
the
playing
one guy.
Division
Okay,
Two.
Ridwan Abdur is also very talented. He just doesn't get the ball enough on
Yeah.
this
No,
team.
like they underutilize him on that team, but
Yeah.
they're kind of like the Denver Nuggets, right? I mean, they have a good young core, but
That's
they don't make any moves. Up
So
there.
Mo, I did some research.
Yes.
Cool.
This is going to be surprising that I actually did some
Shocking.
research, but I
I'm
did.
already shocked.
But if you look at Eric Lalonde, his touchdown to interception ratio, which is what I use as a predictor for future success when I'm looking at quarterbacks, it went from 4-1 in his first season to 2.76 to 1 to 1.8 to 1. So it's he's gotten worse since he got here, and it's the defense in FPF has improved overall. The level of athleticism has improved overall, and he's been stubborn and he's been calling the same plays, and he's the same quarterback he is as when he got here, and that's not good enough anymore.
Yes, GM.
We have a write-in message from Sean Fontaine, who will hereby be
Oh,
referred
my
to
boy.
as Shantaine.
Shantaine!
Shantaine says, "We miss you, Eagle." So they miss him.
Yeah, you're missable.
Well, they miss him because they're winning.
What? Do you mean they prefer to lose?
I don't know. They miss him, but they're also winning.
I miss Eagle in the pink top. He wore.
Causation equals correlation, right?
He looked
There
like
we
a
go.
member of the Heart Foundation. He wore the white tight
Heart and
shorts,
Stroke
whatever it was, and the pink top. He looked like the third member of the Heart Foundation.
Those shorts are uncomfortably tight. Like not uncomfortable for him. I'm saying uncomfortable for everyone else.
Happening.
Smoking Oxalots.
Mm-hmm.
Situation with Stefan Fens, we don't know. I know he had a bad injury, I believe, right?
He did.
Isn't he your boy?
Yeah.
He didn't mention it when I spoke to him.
Yeah, in your game. Isn't that right, Eagle? He had a bad injury.
Oh, he had a concussion. That's it. He did
Concussion.
mention that. I forgot it because of my concussions.
Yeah,
fair.
exactly.
That's what
He's
happens.
he's doing okay though. He's doing all right.
Right.
He's feeling better.
But we'll see if he plays in the next couple weeks. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
Can't quote me on that, though.
He's in the protocol.
But their team, they have a former Concordia player, Blake Butler, who played in FPF years ago. May not be the best player that he once was. You got Stefan Fens, you got Collier, you got Jordan Rossi. They have a good core of guys that have had, expensive amount of FPF experience here. Do we take that as being a key factor for them to maybe
Do
be
they
a
still
contender?
have Rory and the Simmer?
Yeah,
Simmer
they
Bros?
have Sean and Rory as well. So they
Yeah,
have some guys. but-
Don't overlook these two guys there.
No, I wasn't. I'm just going through the list of guys that have had the wealth of experience. But we look at this team right now, Chris Brockwell as well, who has higher division experience. This is a team right now. Maybe, if everyone's healthy, maybe could be a Final Four contestant.
The thing is,
Well, they had a
I
Cinderella's
like Jason
run.
Rossi a lot.
Jordan
Rossi a lot.
yeah.
Sorry. Jordan is a very capable quarterback, but sometimes gets in his own head. And when those games happen, they need to find a way to win with him scoring 12 points, 18 points. And that's where I think, again, like I said in the Div 6 show, you need to score 30 points consistently or have the ability to score 30 points consistently to win in the FPF playoffs. And that's what worries me about this team. Otherwise, if things go well, then they'll be fine. They're a fair weather team.
I tend to agree with Peter. I think he's
Nice.
he's the kind of quarterback that if the game's close, he's gonna be clutch. He's gonna score. But if the game's going back and forth, he's gonna make the first mistake, the second mistake, and then
All the mistakes.
it's gonna unravel.
Speaking of unraveling, Texas Bearmans, spring season, they had a roster of Khalil Kerr, University of Montreal player, Quasi Gordon, who's playing Division 1 and 2. They had a bunch of top tier talent.
Mike Roy.
And Khalil,
Mike Roy, yes. Is it Mike Roy's fault that they've dramatically have come to
I
a
think
crash?
Mike Roy's career since he criticized Simon Dagenet
has gone.
has taken a plunge in FPF.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Like-
I don't know. I liked them a lot with Khalil at quarterback. But I'm kind of curious to see how Jalen Grandison does. Jalen's an excellent athlete, and
He's coming off
great-
an injury though, right? So is
Yeah.
he fully healthy to play in
Yeah,
this
but he's
style?
he will be by season's end. He will be.
He's still a freak athlete,
Yeah.
regardless of.
They
But
won 24-0 by the way in the first game.
I
They
think-
defeated Mavericks.
And Mavericks are not going to be one of the stronger teams in
No,
the division. So
They have Longhorns week 2 by the way.
yeah, that's a bad start.
I think Mike Hall is the easy scapegoat in this situation to blame him. But if you flip any other teams, if you put a quarterback that's struggling with the team for a few seasons, and the quarterback's not doing so well, and they're not moving the ball, and they're not getting much, the team's gonna drop down divisions because they believe they can't compete anymore. So I think it's just a situation of if they would have had a different quarterback, this situation might have been different.
So what you're saying is, when you're looking at trying to find a scapegoat, no name comes to mind other than Mike Roy.
Well,
Well, look, if you watch
unless if you don't
preseason-
win now, because if they finish like 2-8 now,
Went over his
Right over
head.
your head.
Went over his head. If
No.
you look at spring season, Mike Roy definitely plunged that team's hopes down the toilets.
Well, I mean, it's better than being stuck in the toilet.
Yeah, but it was just a bad fit, though, right?
yeah, it was a bad fit.
So, but you look at the team now. Like, this may not have the star-studded roster that we saw 4 months ago, but with a guy like Granson, Keon Ranger, they have experience here, Simon.
They have good players in a division where these players can shine a lot. So I think Texas Spearman is going to be one of those teams that people overlook because of their past, well, I wouldn't say failures, but underachievements. And they might take a few teams by surprise.
What about lockdown, boys?
Mhm.
What about lockdown?
Who's locked down?
Alex Dakla's lockdown.
I never heard of him.
This is Pat Riot's team. Is he still oddly blonde? He's still oddly blonde.
Is the Riyad Mahrez look from
I
Leicester
mean, if you're
City.
looking for the real Slim Shady, he's playing for Lockdown. I honestly, like, it's the version of Lockdown I like best, which is not necessarily the most talented, but it's the team that is most cohesive because they're friends and they work. They really
They want to play.
they
together.
enjoy playing together.
Ryan Grad on the roster, too.
Sorry,
Ryan Grad on the
Ryan
roster.
Grad's on the okay. I did not know that, but essentially, but still, the bulk of it's still Pat Riot, Maxim Chateauneuf, Antoine Martineau. Like they're guys who've been part of the roster for a while. Steven Alberico returns at snapper. It's nice to see those names. And again, it's guys that when you see them on the field, they enjoy coming out to the field. You'll know that you're going to get a full season commitment from everyone.
Yeah.
And in that way, that's going to help Pat Riot be the best version of himself.
What about tweener teams like Preachers, Warriors, and Brothers? Those three teams in particular. Warriors have had some success playing in the lower divisions.
I think Warriors would be good.
Well, the thing is with the Warriors, their biggest downfall is what? Their attitude, right? They always take the worst penalties.
They tend to be their own worst enemy. But Michael Soleimani is an excellent quarterback who I think will be up to speed quick enough in this division. And Stefano Soleimani wasn't there for the first game, so
No.
that doesn't help.
Okay, so that explains a lot.
Angelo Moralato's not on the team this season. That's
not
a
good.
big loss. The receiver of the
That's not
Mediterranean that changes a lot.
That's
The
not
hammer.
Peter Giannis, who's I believe the defensive play caller, not there. So a lot of key pieces of what the Warriors are weren't there. It was a quieter game,
Yes,
I'm sure.
it was.
but I will say that honestly, by season's end, Michael Soleimani will find a way, and having all of his roster there.
Is he the best ever left-handed quarterback in FPF history?
I'm in the room.
GM, can you answer that question for us, please?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. We have another left-handed quarterback
Mike
in division.
Mindell?
In Division 5, Scott Moranowitz is left-handed as
Yeah.
well.
Kelly
His sample
was Scott-
size is a little bit
I
smaller,
think
though.
we're going to go back really, really far with this one.
Mike McDowell,
But,
no?
I'm thinking
no,
Scott
even,
Kelly.
Even before that, I'm thinking
Mike Mandel was
Jamie.
left-handed.
Commission's quarterback.
Yeah, I know he is.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Just one second.
All right, as the GM thinks top of
But I tend to disagree with Chupies. I think Michael Soleimani will catch up, but not fast enough.
Jamie
They're gonna
Crawford. Jamie Crawford is my
Crawford.
pick for best left-handed
He
quarterback.
played with who again?
Angry Bear, not Angry Bears, like years and years ago. I think he played like 2006, 2007.
Oh, wow. That's
But
long.
he's
Black
like
and white
a
era?
former like CFL quarterback though.
lose. So
So
back
he
when it
really?
didn't matter.
So Solomon is the
happened.
greatest ever left-handed
That's
thrower
what I'm
in
saying.
FPF history.
Back when it
Doesn't
didn't
say
matter.
much for that position. Okay, what about Preachers?
Like,
Again,
my,
another-
do your piece.
my
Simone, you know them
problem
very
with
well.
Preachers is they don't have a quarterback. Their quarterback situation is changing every single week, and that's not a recipe for success. If they have a stable
And-
quarterback, they're going to win, but they don't. So
But also, it takes, like, they have good receivers in Nick Salo and Alexis Labonte, and if they need to throw, it removes them as receivers.
there you go.
But I have something more interesting to talk about with Preachers.
Yes.
Let's speculate.
Okay.
Pat Lindor, was he cut? Was he traded? Did he abandon his teammates because he's
Did
a
he
poor
retire?
teammate? Did he? No, he's playing in FPF, so he did
Yeah.
not retire. Did he fake retirement and come out of retirement like Brett Favre?
Yeah, but he's overhyped, though, man.
I know, but what happened here?
Like,
I want to know about the drama, Mokan.
But you know what he is? And take away the accolades that he has. I'm talking about this example. He's Des Bryant. Think about it, though, right?
Attitude
I'm sure
wise,
he's saying
yes.
you're welcome.
His attitude, like Des Bryant, okay?
He likes strippers? Is that
No,
what
we're
we're doing?
talking about his
Probably. Who
off-field
doesn't?
Who
exploits.
doesn't like strippers? We're all Des
He
Bryant.
drops a lot of balls, no? Like Des does?
He makes a lot of mental errors.
A lot.
But that's
of
very
mental errors.
Des. He's gonna make a great catch and he's gonna drop a hook and then
Yeah, like he'll make you a 40-yard touchdown grab. Like, yeah, boy, I caught that ball. I'm like, yeah, you dropped 10 others before that.
Yeah.
Just like
Sounds
Des Bryant
like Des.
does, right?
No, I like
Is that
the
a big
metaphor.
loss though?
Yeah, but what happened? I want to know from the drama angle.
I think it's a whole like Pat sort of like the kind. If everything goes well, he's a good teammate. But when the ship starts to sink, he's the first one to get off.
Yeah.
Oh, don't
And
worry,
I
he's
think
on a
that's-
lifeboat before anyone else is on a lifeboat.
And I think that's the problem with preachers is
He's
they
the
had a
rich
ba-
people in Titanic.
They had a bad season and he just left.
I see it different. I see it like he texts Nick Saro like, "Hey, what's going on this season?" And then Nick answers, "New phone. Who dis?"
So you are who? Who this?
And that was clever. Job.
Keep this team in mind. Half a Stars, which is I guess the skeleton of the Coyotes. Who
No, but it wasn't. They had a team together in previous seasons.
they do, but a lot of the guys are from the Coyotes who are playing
Yes,
down,
they-
right? AJ Rashgren, Andrew
They
Langbert,
just
included.
changed names.
A guy who played high division, Brian Fuchs, now back in this division. They have a pretty good core group as well.
They have very good players.
Should we look at them as being a legitimate threat to maybe make a run in 5, Simo?
Until they have a. My only worry is not the core, it's not the players, not the defense. It's the quarterback. Is he good enough for them to win Division 5, or will he be their like? Is he gonna throw 25 interceptions this season, or will he be able to throw 40 touchdowns?
A lot of questions here for this division, but
No
overall,
answers, just questions.
It's just questions.
Calling the
no
audible.
calling the audible.
What-
Overall, what's your expectations of this division, though, guys? Do you expect this division to perhaps have more teams below 500 than above 500, or do you think there'll be teams at 500, or we'll have a boatload well beyond that mark?
I see a lot of teams around.
He said peas.
Oh, sorry. I
He
didn't
said
hear
peas,
I heard
man.
You guys.
Um,
Sorry, man.
No, in 5A, I think this is actually a very well balanced division. I think a lot of the teams will sort of group around the middle. I don't think we'll see an undefeated team. I think we may see a winless team, but I think the bulk of the teams are going to be around.
Who's the winless team
6
then,
wins.
boys? Who's going to be the winless team in this division?
Nobody.
I just said there'd be one, so I got to choose one. I'm going to say
Yeah.
Bobby's Boys. I think Bobby's Boys are a little bit out of their depth.
Simo, why are you being gun shy about this pick here? Why? Yes, says GM.
We have a write-in by Max Atala. Des doesn't drop good balls.
That's just we went back and forth during the fantasy season. It's an inside joke between me and Matt. Max, I got
Cool.
your name wrong on purpose.
Cool.
Yes. Okay.
No, I think this is not the type of division that's gonna have a winless team, and they're not gonna have an undefeated team. We're gonna see a lot of teams, veteran teams from like 2010, have good season. Longhorns, Afro.
So I meant to say Mavericks. I got the team name wrong. Mavericks is the team that I don't think will win. Mavericks, you going 0-10. You heard it here first. Break it to your team now.
They'll be relegated before week 8.
That's
How
a
about
shitty
that?
news to break.
Sorry, man. Sometimes you go to the doctor, you get bad news. Dr.
5B.
P's in the house.
So you're a doctor now.
Yeah.
5B. What caught your attention from this past week's action? One game that I saw from afar was the ever-improved Finners.
It's not the same team. That's
No,
finesse-
it's not.
Yeah. No.
Much better from where they were in the fall season to where they are now.
Yeah.
Big win, 26-9 over. Speaks easy here, but we look at this team.
Speak easy.
They have a guy in Tristan Greneau who won a Vanny Cup with Laval University years
Mhm.
ago. 3 touchdown passes, 164 yards passing. Once he gets this game down, the quick read, ball out of his hand, not like in tackle football.
Yeah.
Maybe he's gonna dominate this league. And
That's going to be a trend in this podcast. A lot of the things that we're going to talk about will come down to that for me anyway, is that it takes a while for quarterbacks, regardless of their background, to learn the systems and the spacing and field dimensions.
Learn.
And that you can throw balls that are not safe in tackle that murder people. You can throw those balls in flag and they don't murder people.
Yeah.
It's an instinct thing that they have to learn to turn off. And so Tristan Grennan, I think, will be an excellent quarterback in FPF at some point. They also did beat the Speakeasy, which are typically the Trap Stars, who are, I believe, GM, the losingest team in FPF history. Are they still them?
It's close.
I think they are.
It's very possible, but they had also spun off and they were a little off for a season with Rafa Balaja at quarterback, and they made playoffs with that roster. And Trapstars tended to turn it around in their later seasons with the acquisition of Vincent Richard. St. Onge brothers kind of brought something different to the team as well. So it was the losingest dynasty in FPF, but not by much.
Dynasty.
Yeah.
Love that term. Dynasty.
Losing his dynasty.
Losing
That's
dynasty.
tough.
I like that.
I think Venom are. I think Venom,
Venom
are
would
the
probably be,
losingest dynasty in FPF.
That's rough. That's a tough place to be.
Fun boys, they beat Balls Deep 20-14. I was there for that game. Scott Moran was back at quarterback, and I'll say this: this is definitely not the same team as the ones for the Liam Mahoney's of the world, GM Clarathis of the world is playing for them here. This is going to be a one-man show, and you made the points piece, and I'll ask you this, Simon. Can they rely on that one man, Scott Moranos, to win this game week in, week out?
You first or I'm first?
You
Do
go
it.
first.
You go. Me? I go. Who go? You said you. This is
I
both
said
of us.
Simon. I'll go Simon first.
Yes, in Division 5, he's good enough defensively to shut down anybody he covers. And as a quarterback, he's able to, if he uses his legs enough, he could get a lot of yardage with his legs. It just depends on what he decides to do.
Scott Moranowitz won a championship running every second play with PTC Stomp, or was it Hype? There was like 2 seasons
With
back to
Dale
back where
Williams.
he won like winter and then spring,
Yeah,
and he was
Dale
part of-
Williams, the infamous Dale Williams, was, this is the next great thing, and he flamed out.
I say, I first of all, Dale Williams will never flame out.
No, he'll never flame out. He'll
the thing
never
is,
flame out.
My thing with him is I don't think he's a good enough quarterback. I don't think what he tends to do is, the defense did that, they're going to do the exact same thing. And when you give him a different look, he throws right into coverage. I don't think he reads the field well enough. I think he needs to rely on athleticism. But GM, the period in time you're referencing in FPF is long gone. Like there's too much athleticism in FPF to be able to successfully do that, in my opinion.
Okay.
Okay.
I say something,
That's
then
still
you say
2
something.
championships on you, though.
Like, you
I'm not
literally
criticizing
hard
him. I'm projecting for the future. What he did is amazing. Winning 2 championships is absolutely amazing.
But even in Division 5B, I feel like if this team is built around like Scott's legs, and if he rolls out and will take off running but still can dump off passes and every second play, if this team is built around that, it is sustainable. It may not win them a championship again, but it is sustainable.
I agree with Jim.
And you're both wrong.
Well, PC's always the one who will come up with the against the grain thought process
Yeah, we'll
here.
go with
I
against
like being
right
contrarian.
Yes,
It's
you do.
comfortable.
Okay, so Fun Boys. Okay, I'll throw 2 other teams here. I'll start with you, Simon. TDs and Beer GLC.
now. Okay.
Are they your sneaky favorites? Good quarterback play, perhaps? Decent core? What do you think about these 2 teams?
I like TDs and Beer. They're a good team. They'll be better than their record. They won't finish with that 8-2, 9-1, very out there record, but they'll finish like 6-4, just above 500. But in the playoffs, they'll be one of the dangerous matchups. If the matchups go their way, they're a very talented team. I think it depends on who they face. They're not good against everybody. There's a few dimensions they don't cover so well. Whereas Greenland and Corp, I don't see it this season.
What do you see,
Even-
Simon? What do you see
Yes.
them finishing with GLC?
4-6.
Well, they made
Really?
finals last spring with 3-7. So
That was a crazy run.
just saying.
But that's I agree. Like if it's fine if you make
Or
the
4-6.
If
So
you're
4-6
4-6
will
and you make the
finals.
playoffs and you make the finals, good for you.
But they found a quarterback finally. Hyman Long.
Yes, and he's good. I just don't think the team around him. Like I just don't see it. The guys require more. Heyman is the kind of he's a pocket passer that just dumps it off quickly and he just moves along.
Well, so my criticism of Hyman Long before was that if you can move your defense and if you can show him one look and deliver another and use a lot of rotating schemes and shoots, he struggles. But in that run in the playoffs, I watched basically every GLC game up into the finals, and he showed me a different side. He showed me basically that he can be a more dynamic passer. So he is developing, and he has enough athleticism, I think what we thought about him might have been limited by what he had on the Jays,
Okay.
Whereas I feel
Fair.
he has a better core around him.
Agreed.
In GLC.
100%, he's got a better talent roster to work with. I think they were just dying for a quarterback on this team because for years, or in
Yes.
particular,
They're
prior
dying
to-
in his arms tonight.
Well, probably, but prior to his
Was
arrival,
it something he said?
It must have been something he said.
prior to his arrival, though, like you think about it, this team was on its deathbed.
Oh yeah, it was.
They
it was
were
bad.
Yeah, like
It was bad.
I mean, Simona,
That one season was.
yeah, Simona, we score kept a bunch of the games. There would be no 5 plays. It's like, okay, we're gonna be done by 10:50.
That's not
here.
just 5 plays. It's 56 to,
yeah,
to
the
5.
game,
56,
it'll be over
it's
after
bad.
5 plays. Like, and we're not even a minute into the game. It's over. But now they found their quarterback, guys, and I agree with Pease. I think this is a team that shouldn't be underestimated for what they have now built up as a roster, and I believe they're gonna win 7 games, if not more.
Okay. Cool.
Simon's like, you idiots.
I disagree. That's fine.
Simon always sends to me on Facebook
I have to go
private
against the grain.
message. F-bomb Mocon, eh?
But I will say
Shit
TDs,
show.
TDs and beer will be exactly what they are all the time. They'll beat the
Good.
teams they should beat. They'll lose to the teams they should lose to. And in the playoffs, when they only play against teams where they're not heavily favored, they will lose a game.
Well, they always are one and done anyway.
But it's what it is. It's that
DNA.
they once they're playing games that are going to be tight, where they got to stick with it. That's when they tend to flame out. But even though I don't think they'll go far, I think this is where we see the youngster Avery Lala become.
Who didn't play last week?
He didn't play last week, but he is on the roster, and if he does play, I believe this is the season where he makes the jump from tackle quarterback to FPF quarterback.
I know we mentioned Finners.
I don't know if that's a jump. Is that like a sideways lateral?
Yeah,
movement?
lateral movement. Finners, we mentioned them. Dawson's Cafe, Ducks. These are teams that play in the fall league.
Mhm.
Do they make that early jump? Because remember, we always talk about teams when they first arrive in FPF, whether it's winter or spring seasons. They always have that welcome to the FPF moment where they get cracked. Are they going to avoid that downfall and be competitive this winter season?
I like Dawson's Calf Finest off the bat just because they have a lot of athleticism. Adamo Petruccelli is a dynamic playmaker on both sides of the ball. Gabriel Bardetti is a guy that we don't all know yet, but we will. They don't use Miguel Rodriguez's size enough because he is a giant. He's
How much of a giant is he?
Tall. Very, very.
he's like if Beastfoot was a disorder, he would be a Beastfoot giant.
He's like Alex Gastien then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, that guy.
It was tall.
I remember him rushing me. Doesn't that complete nightmare?
Simon probably threw like 5 completions to him. Here you go. Here you go.
Here, relax.
Here you go.
Go.
Just running into that interception.
But I like that group. Ducks have 2 shutdown corners. Mo and I talked about a lot.
At the finals.
The offseason and in finals.
Yeah.
Yanni Labe and David Rothstein are nice.
They're tall, man.
Yeah.
They're tall, athletic. They can cover a lot of ground.
And Finners we talked about earlier.
Simon, your thoughts? What do you think about Cafe?
I agree with P's
Ducks?
on Dawson Calf's finest. I think it's a good season for them. I just think Ducks are a bit out of their depth. They have good defense players, but their offense is not going to be able to keep up with Division 5.
I think at the end of the day, if I had to pick one of the 3, I'm going to go with Ducks to make it to the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the other 2 will be competitive, but I just don't know if they have enough firepower to make that last push for them to sneak in as a low end.
Give me all 3. Give me all 3 in the playoffs.
to make the playoffs. Really?
Give me what's the money line on that, GM?
$8.
$8.
$8. You
What
bet
can you get
$8,
with
you win
$8
$24.
What can,
Alright.
what can we get with $8 nowadays?
Not a lot.
You get a nice
One
sandwich.
beer.
What was that sandwich you had there, GM, for supper?
A&W combo,
Oh.
double buddy burger, onion
Oh.
rings, and a root beer will get you for $8.
Oh, damn.
Oh, my.
Done.
Look
you
at
go.
that, eh? Maybe at the end of the year, our staff party for the winter.
NW?
If we're lucky.
Yeah, if we're lucky. Okay, 3 teams that are probably questionable, and Peasy knows one of them because they hated us. Well, they hated me more than they hated Peasy. Spartans,
Ah, Spartans never hated me.
they never hated us.
They hated you.
No, we're cool.
But then
We're
again.
cool. SOB, straight out of Beth, and Balls Deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Out of these 3 teams, Simo,
Mm-hmm.
who do you think is going to have the most awful, terrible, sucky, bad season?
Well, that's a weird way to phrase it. I like Jim's visual expression. I'll go with Balls Deep. I think Straight Out of Red is an actual very decent team. I
Yeah,
think.
they were a division higher in spring. They were in
Yeah.
the
Yeah, they
D1s,
really wanted to
yeah.
prove me wrong. They really wanted to go to
Yeah,
the
but
finals. Didn't do it.
But that's fine. Like, I like that core, and I think Straight Out of Red's going to be one of the good Division 5 teams. So obviously not
you
them.
think so? They're
Yes.
so predictable, though, guys.
Cool. You can
can
be
stop it.
predictable. It works.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
They can
Does
be
it really
predictable,
work?
but
Look
you have
at
to stop it.
Look at James Dandria's numbers.
So I have a bit of breaking news.
Yes.
Alexis Brissett done for the season. Done for Darksiders, done for Spartans. That's
What
why
do
I
you do
know.
to him?
He's getting so he injured his knee last season.
Yeah, that's right. I remember
He's
that.
getting surgery.
That
So
sucks.
best wishes to Alexis Brissett. I hope he gets well soon.
Changes the dynamic for Spartans now.
Yeah, but Andrew Grant's back. Daniel Casavan's back. He never left. And Charles David Martel's a full-time member who he wasn't in
And
spring.
Messi's back now.
Sorry?
Dale Messi.
Dale Messi, I'm not sure is back.
Yes, well, he was. I saw him.
Well, he's the one that's
Who
doing the
was?
chants. Let's. He brings a chant to the field.
But I'm saying Andrew Grant, Daniel Casavan, Charles David Martel are excellent receivers. And James Andrew is he subbed for us in a game last spring,
Yeah.
and his play calls were very difficult to execute. But just
He's
by
a deep
working,
ball thrower though.
but in working with FPF, he's started to film a lot of games, he started to watch a lot of games, and he started to pick up plays. And I've been discussing this with him at length on the golf course and then in the off season.
Look at that, a golf course, the
Yeah.
high life here, hey Simon? Golf
Absolutely.
course.
I make no
was actually
qualms
there,
about
Yeah.
it.
Where are we?
Actually, yeah, Simon was there too.
Simon is actually up in his castle up in north with his family and stuff. While I'm out here slaving away on Sundays at 4:00.
Okay, Mokan.
But
Who's
but,
not there Saturday?
Don't worry about that.
But he's actually picked up a lot of plays by filming Game of the Week, by watching the finals, by being involved in the finals.
To be honest,
Uh,
it helps. The
uh,
more if you watch, if you watch higher division, you'll pick up a few things. You'll pick up that Kevin White gets the ball out of his hands in the second
Mhm.
and a half. He doesn't
Oh,
hold
he
on to
calls
the ball
4
so much.
plays and it works.
It's
Yeah.
deep
So-
balls.
So for those listening,
Yes.
what would you suggest then in that case?
Well, stick around on the fields. If you're playing, let's say Wednesday night at the Bayern at 8:30, play your game.
Do
Yeah.
we theoretically have resources on our website where you can maybe watch games?
Oh, yeah. Also, there's games of the
Should you
week.
tell the people listening about that?
There's also that. There's also games of the week.
Tune in on our Facebook page for Games of the Week. And you can also watch our previous finals on our Vimeo page and
And
YouTube. All that stuff's available to you. If you cannot find it because you cannot use the internet, feel free to contact any of us and we will talk to you like you're a child.
Contact please.
Contact anyone else.
514.
No, but anyways, my point is, I think he's learning, which is good.
Mhm.
Everybody could be able to do that. There's a lot of resources for that, but I still don't see it.
You know who he reminds me of? He's like Blake Bortles out there.
Oh boy.
I mean, so he's like a professional NFL quarterback?
Well, no.
Oh, sorry, a borderline professional.
Yeah,
Because people
borderline
say-
professional
Oh.
FBF quarterback. No,
So
he is like that though because he's got talent. Same thing with Jackson, right? Talent to work with, but the quarterback play's been rather putrid. It has been though. Like if you look at the teams that they've been in the last couple of years in FPF Spartans, right?
The team's good, but
They just don't win the playoffs though.
he's very flaky. In the playoffs, he always.
They were like a wing.
But even during the
offense.
season, he's gonna have a very good game. He's gonna have 5 touchdowns, and then the following week,
They've
he's
also been
just
to a
gonna go
conference final.
12.
In his first season, they went to a conference final.
Yes.
So, I mean, they did win playoff games.
No, I'm not saying they don't win. I'm just saying he's very up and down.
And the only team they lost to that season was Trinity, which never should have been Division 6.
Also,
No.
that was.
They were a
brutal.
Division 3 team playing in Division 6.
That was a brutal team. So to answer your question, Mokan, I'm going with
Yes.
balls deep.
SOB quickly here, boys. Your thoughts on these guys?
Well, as you're saying it's predictable, I'm saying nobody.
I
can
think
stop them.
they're basically a blue chip stock in this division. They're in a
Because as a team, that's funny because they remind me of blue chips of a higher division.
Yeah.
They have the same sort of build and mechanic as well.
yeah, and that's probably what drew my attention there. But essentially, yeah, like I think they're gonna execute whether you know what's coming or not. They're gonna execute, and they're very good at playing their system. So if they get the right matchups, they will be a little matchup dependent. To your point, Mo, but
Yeah.
going down essentially a division, I think they'll be fine.
Okay, here it is for you guys. Scenario's this: playoffs, 5 plays to go. You're down by 6, down by 5. We'll go with 5 points. Who do you trust as a quarterback with 5 plays to go? James Dandrier or Max Marini to win you that football game with
Ma-
5 plays to go?
Max Marini.
Max Marini.
James D'Andrea, because of his repertoire of throws, he can make more throws than Max Marine.
Max
Ooh.
can use
What-
his legs.
Simone?
Max
GM
does
why?
have the ability to use his legs though, and can roll out a little bit more. He can create more plays
Yes,
out of
absolutely.
nothing.
He's definitely a playmaker. Definitely.
And straight out of breath have the habit of capitalizing on broken plays or exploiting weaknesses
Yeah.
of other teams. So that right there, I think, puts them at a bit more of an advantage.
If it's a situation where the game's, let's say, 43-38, then I'd pick James because he has scored in this game a lot. He's very confident. On the flip side, if the game's a very low-scoring affair, I'll go with Marine.
I can see that.
Because he's the kind of guy that says, okay, I have a shot now. I have
He's
5
like a
plays.
rhythm shooter in basketball. Like
Yeah.
like once he starts hitting his threes,
He's going to find a way to just think, okay, I won't rely on my guys anymore. I'll rely on myself. I'll beat the rusher. I'll make a play. And then my team's going to come feed on me. Whereas James, if his receivers are not in sync with him, there's only so much you can do.
Well, then, I'm quite surprised by the. I thought it'd be a clean sweep for Max Marini.
no, I think we're gonna see a change in James this season.
By the way, they play
I
each
like
other week
James.
7. SOB against Spartans week 7 in Brossard, February 17th.
All right,
10
that'd be
PM.
fun.
That should be a good game.
That might be a statement game for both teams. That might be a playoff game when you think about it,
A
right?
play-in game kind of.
Essentially, right? Because
Yeah.
at that point in the year, we're talking about the last 3-4 weeks of the year and how vital every win's going to be for those bubble teams, and we might be looking at 2 bubble teams in that case. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about the 5B predictions here. Yes or no, will we have an undefeated team in 5B?
Yes. I think 5B has a bigger chance of having an undefeated team than 5A.
GM, and I'll get your answer in 2 seconds. Peas, your thoughts?
I opened the wrong tab.
Okay, GM, your thoughts?
Will we see an undefeated or a winless team?
A 10-0 team. Will we see a 10-0 team this year? Could it be the Fun Boys, TDs and Beer? Could it be retired All-Stars, Wrecking Crew? Could it be Moss City, Straight Out of Breath? Could it be Ducks, Takeover, Finners?
I think if there is a team that's likely to go 10-0, it'll probably be Moss City.
Okay.
I was exactly gonna say Moss City. I like Moss City a lot.
They're a good team. They had a good,
Very good team.
Good team. Good run last year.
Yeah.
Winless team, yes or no? I know it's early to say
No.
who's not great, but will we see this general answer? Yes.
I think
or no?
I think this is pretty well balanced. I'm gonna say no.
I don't think so either. Winless is 5. The teams in 5 don't have.
How many wins?
Maybe Browns to Boucherville, just because if you name your team after the Browns, it's bound to happen.
They're also seemingly
though.
all new players, and they failed to score a touchdown in week 1.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so with that mentality, I would agree with that. But otherwise,
Down with the Browns.
that
Down
was,
with the Browns.
that was very loud.
How many wins to win your division? 7 wins, or we're looking at 8 wins?
8.
8. Simon says 8. Peas, what do
Maybe
you say?
7.
7. GM,
Maybe
you say
7.
what?
it's got to be 7. 7 or more. So
Yeah,
Okay.
it won't be
so-
less than 7, but
so
there will
We're
be a
talking
division
about,
where
like the subdivision, like West or East,
Yeah,
right? We're
exactly.
not talking about.
That
Well, your
conference.
division. If your division,
There will
East-
probably be one of the 4 that takes it with 7.
So
But the
that's
rest
fair.
will- yeah.
sub 500 winner for division.
no.
No.
Predictions, boys. 5B finals. Who's going to be?
I'm going with Afro against Falcons.
Shocker,
Very,
Simon.
very,
Shocker,
very
Simon.
old school. But I like
Yes.
I like what
That's not gonna
both
happen
teams
at
have done
all.
week 1.
That's not happening at all.
Cool. Go on.
Give me Moss City, and give me. I don't know.
Today, please.
I like them, and give me Green Lantern Corps. They're going a second time. And
You
they're
know
lo-
what? That's my pick.
And they're gonna lose a second time in the finals.
GM, what do you got?
Well, I got picked up by a team in 5B, so I'm going to say Moss City against Super Saiyans.
I got Moss City
You gotta
against.
take yourself out.
Doesn't matter. He's fine. No, you pick yourself. It's all good. I got Moss City against GLC.
No.
Moss City, yeah, that's
See,
what I
because
got.
it's
So
not
basically
my
same pick as
team,
his.
I can hype them up.
Okay.
Like I try to distance myself away from teams that I captain.
Maybe they
I
shouldn't have
feel
thrown
like
a
a
John-
little bit. Pardon?
Maybe you guys shouldn't have thrown to Dondre Borden this week. Just saying.
Okay.
2 interceptions.
Shots fired. Hashtag. All right. 5A. Will we see an undefeated team in 5A this year, guys?
Simo.
Undefeated. The only team I think that could go undefeated is either Greendale
That'd be
Human
awesome.
Beings or Ghosts.
Okay. So peace.
It's unlikely, although Greendale Human Beings can. Maybe Rednecks. Rednecks are just interesting. They tend to just win these bizarre close games. So, I don't know. Maybe? Question mark?
Question mark's good.
Your turn, bro.
GM, any predictions?
I've pulled up the Hot Boys hotline schedule right now.
No,
I
don't.
see-
Please. Please.
There's also Texas Bearmans. Texas Bearmans have a lot of experience. They have a physical presence that will be very, very noteworthy in 5A as well. That's going to be
I agree with
difficult
that.
for opposing offenses to get around.
I'm
Pease
looking.
has his finger up right now.
I'm looking at
He's
this Hot
thinking.
Boys Hotline schedule. It's
Nice
pretty.
finger.
It's pretty easy. Like their first real test is like week 8 against Ghosts.
Not even they don't even play lockdown this year, I believe. No,
They don't.
Oh, that would have been great.
that would be awesome.
Eagle Bowl.
Eagle, could you make it happen? Could you change the schedule around? Thank you.
I'll give you one team. Rednecks.
See, that's what I said.
Rednecks.
We're vibing each other
I
tonight,
know
man.
we are.
Yeah,
We are.
we'll
It's a
go.
lot
We'll
to
go with that. We'll go with. It's not.
I missed Mo, right?
It's not
Yeah,
like
no.
it's not like Mo's waiting for your answer and just saying the same thing afterwards.
You say that? You can say
Peace
that?
did research.
You can say that? Yeah, you can say that? Yeah, okay, let's say it together at the same time. Yes. How many wins per division to win as a 1 seed or your division champion?
There's going to be one division with 6 wins, isn't
6 wins. Peas.
7, just
Seven,
because
same
I
thing,
always say
GM
that every
7?
season.
Or you think this might be a
No, I
little
think
bit
this
less?
might be 8. I think it's going to be
8.
the top seeds will all be either 8 or 9 wins
All right.
minimum.
Finals. Who do we have playing the finals for 5A, gentlemen?
it? Greendale Human Beings against Ghosts.
That's not bad. That's pretty good. Well, mind you know what? I know what you picked Ghost for.
Because the team is ridiculously stacked for 5A.
Yeah, well, it's pretty good.
The team that roster is pretty good.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, I like that too.
You look like you.
I'm sad about it, but I like
You're saying that you have to
Just-
shut your own dog. You're like, yeah.
Well, because
I
it's-
know. I have to.
That or Texas Bearmans. They're to me, they're by far the 2 best teams in the conference. That conference week is weak compared to Conference A.
GM, your pick?
I'm trying to pick players, teams that haven't been aforementioned already, I guess. At this point, Hey, give me Longhorns in a surprise.
Yeah.
Maybe their first FPF finals.
I was looking at
That would be
Longhorns.
great.
Because they're in a
That'd be
tough division,
amazing.
man. That division,
But by consequence, because they're in a tough division, they'll be battle tested, and come playoffs, the games won't be as much of a step up for them.
And what
It's
I
a
like
team
about
that have-
Longhorns is that they always score points. You're never gonna keep them under 24 points. Like you're gonna have to put like again. It's been the theme of the show. You need to score to win the playoffs. They're the type of team that can score every single.
well, you know what? That
They will,
division,
they will score 40 points almost every week.
that division had 5 teams that went 1-0. Minimum 24 points was scored or more. So every team scored at least 24 points
Yeah.
within those 5-0 teams here. So that could be a high scoring division. You're absolutely right, GM and Peas. Give me the Longhorns as well. I'll take them to make it
I like
through
Longhorns.
over the Ghosts. And then on the flip side of the bracket, I'm going to go with the Rednecks.
I like Rednecks.
Oh.
Like
It goes hand in hand. Rednecks and Longhorns. Steer burgers and Rednecks.
It's
That's
just
interesting.
prejudice.
Hunting
Yeah, that's just
and
bad.
eating burgers. Huh?
I love burgers.
Cool.
I'm
I
so
love
jealous of
hunting.
GM.
What did you learn in today's episode, Simo?
That I had something for this.
No, you didn't.
It was about
Turn it
hunting and fishing, and Mo seems to think it's not a real thing. But I just can't phrase it properly.
I learned that A&W's pricing is still competitive in the burger game.
GM?
Hats off.
I learned that Terry Tam said that Pease loves Longhorns.
I do love Longhorns. I love
Alright.
things that are both long and horny.
I learned that GM likes to have a nice full meal. Onion rings, the Buddy Burger.
Yeah, I put the
And-
onion rings in the Buddy
Yeah,
Burger.
that,
as
no,
well.
that's key. Anyone who is high level with A&W, you know the onion rings go in the burger.
Yep.
We'll talk to Terry Tam about food later. That's
Yes.
we're bringing that up.
Yeah,
The
Terry
people gotta
Tam
know.
is a
The people
connoisseur.
gotta
People
know.
need to know.
Without further ado, the magic words, please, boys.
From all of us here.
Is it Division 4 time?
Good night, Georgia.
Oh, fuck
Oh.
Calling the Audible is brought to you by The Zone. The NFL is done, but there are still the playoffs and the Super Bowl ahead, as well as countless other leagues and sports on The Zone. The Zone, that's DAZN.com. It's the only place in Canada that will show every single NFL game, including the playoffs and the Super Bowl, plus NFL Game Pass, NFL Red Zone, and NFL Sunday Ticket. The Zone can be viewed at home or on the go on smartphones, smart TVs, tablets, and gaming consoles. Fans can watch their favorite teams, leagues, and players for an affordable monthly price of $20 or an annual subscription for $150 a year. FPF is happy to announce their new partnership with Beastfoot. Beast foot is not a degenerative disorder where the foot becomes monsterized and tortures a small town. In their own words, beast foot is actually